Bagaimana kami sebagai parent kepada anak-anak neurodivergent tu sometimes overcompensate.
VKO, one time it cause a meltdown, lepas tu avoid at all costs. Sedangkan kita perlulah exposekan dia, and sometimes it's not about sensory all the time. It's about the dysregulation and stress ke accumulation of other things that had happened before.
Physical hugs, strokes. These are simple co-regulating. It sounds very scientific, but actually it's by nature that when we are comforting, I think I like to use the word when we are comforting, that is regulating.
Hello, selamat datang ke Kita Family Podcast. Kita Family ini adalah satu podcast di mana kami membincangkan perihal yang berkaitan dengan makna serta kepentingan hidup bermasyarakat, menghargai keunikan serta kepelbagaian sesama kita dan juga meraihkan masyarakat berbilang agama, kaum, kepercayaan, rupa dan juga keupayaan. Kami di sini menghargai hidup secara inklusif yang mengambil kira segenap lapisan masyarakat, terutama mereka yang kurang atau berkelainan upaya. So hari ini kami merakamkan episod ke-65 Kita Family Podcast. Hari ini bersama saya di studio adalah Kakak SK.
Khabar?
Dan dari Kota Kinabalu, Didi.
Hai, Assalamualaikum.
Hai Didi. Hai Kakak. Okay, hari ni topik kita agak pada saya adalah satu topik yang perlu dibincangkan kerana sometimes it is underplayed. Okay, topik itu adalah dua segmen. Bagi segmen pertama, kami akan membincangkan co-regulation atau pengawasan bersesama, dan ini akan kami bincangkan dalam konteks anak-anak yang neurodivergent. Lepas break, kami juga akan membincangkan sedikit sebanyak bagaimana kami sebagai parent kepada anak-anak neurodivergent tu sometimes overcompensate ataupun kita cuba dengan terlebih untuk memberi some form of compensation kepada orang di sekeliling kita atau kepada anak kita kerana ketidakupayaan mereka. So dalam konteks ini, perbincangan hari ini akan menjadi satu perbincangan yang agak reflektif, tetapi juga perbincangan yang mungkin akan memberi pedoman kepada sebahagian daripada ibu bapa yang di sana. Dan ini adalah satu topik yang selepas kami habis di rakaman ini dan topik ini ada ditayangkan, silalah drop the comments, sebab there's a lot of things that we will want to learn from you, because a lot of co-regulation sometimes is through observation of other parents. Dengan tidak melengahkan masa lagi, saya akan mulakan dengan a bit of definisi. Apa itu pengawasan bersesama ataupun definisi what is co-regulation. So co-regulation is a process where two or more individuals, it may not be a parent, it can be a teacher, it can be a office worker, it can be a co-worker, it also can be a caregiver, it can be a grandparent, an aunt, a babysitter, who two or more of them influence each other's emotional and behavioral state, often through a dynamic, reciprocal interaction. And it sort of helps one person remain calm or return to a calm, balanced state when the other is a little bit more emotionally regulated. And this sort of comes in the time of stress and dysregulation. So anak-anak neurodivergent kami kadang-kadang mempunyai detik-detik di mana mereka tidak dapat mengawal perasaan dan juga tidak dapat mengawal perbuatan mereka. Dan apakah peranan sesiapa yang bersama mereka untuk menolong mereka mengawas bersama. Dengan that as a backdrop, saya akan mulakan dengan Didi. Ya, Didi, boleh tak Didi memberi ada tak apa-apa example yang Didi ingin kongsi hari ini yang menjadi satu pengajaran di mana co-regulation itu menjadi lebih penting kepada kami sebagai parents kepada anak neurodivergent?
Okay, of course pengalaman tu banyak, episod tu banyak, boleh buat movie. Tapi yang hari ini nak share, jangan ingat
kita nak buat kita tak ada masa untuk buat movie. Didi, so kita kena buat ringkasan.
Yes.
Seperti dalam exam kan, kalau kita kena ringkaskan dalam 700 perkataan, so today I think we need to ringkaskan dalam satu episod.
Pilih contoh terbaik kan.
Yeah.
So okay, mungkin ramai yang ingat kita dah jadi podcaster. We talk about autism, we talk about neurodivergent from many angles. Ramai yang ingat, oh mesti anak-anak dia okay, kehidupan kita sekeluarga okay, tak ada insiden-insiden yang mencabar lah. Tapi hakikatnya masih lagi berlaku. Not every day, tapi ada masa-masa di mana anak-anak saya menghadapi emosi yang sangat besar. Yang kalau dulu-dulu kan kita faham yang kalau mereka emosi besar akan misbehave. Orang kata misbehave, tapi sebenarnya kerana mereka tidak mampu mengawal lagi, ada perkara yang menjadi trigger dan membuatkan mereka mungkin menjerit, mungkin mengamuk, mungkin menyakiti orang yang berdekatan. Jadi antara sama ada kita mahu menghukum ataupun kita nak menenangkan anak kita, kalau kita nak terus masa tu macam terus, kenapa buat macam ni, and marah-marah terus kan, tak pernah lagi. Anak saya bila dalam keadaan emosi yang sangat besar tu, bila kami marah terus jadi okey. Kalau macam kita dulu kan kecil-kecil, kalau kena marah terus diam kan, terus macam terus macam takut kan. No, but for autistic, when dia dalam keadaan tak dapat mengawal perasaan, kita tambah datang dengan keadaan yang lebih marah kan. Sebab kita of course as parents tak boleh lari daripada perasaan malu, perasaan rasa macam bersalah kan. Kita macam kalau boleh kita nak mengawal keadaan tu secepat mungkin. Jadi kalau kita ambil pendekatan macam parents neurotypical, kalau zaman-zaman dulu lah kan, marah terus rotan apa semua, memang tak berkesan. Dan of course selepas beberapa tahun kan, try and error, nampak cara terbaik adalah menenangkan diri sendiri, kemudian menenangkan anak. Dan cuba untuk memahami apa yang berlaku, cuba untuk distract. Kadang-kadang tu distract lah, belum masanya untuk kita terus berbincang apa yang jadi tu tau. Jadi nak cerita satu insiden yang berlaku di sekolah baru-baru ni. Anak saya telah menjadi sangat marah di sekolah. Dan kemudian gurunya dia tidak mahu memberitahu saya di hadapan anak saya tau. Dia macam nak menjaga perasaan sebab yelah umur pun dah belasan tahun, dah remaja kan. Jadi cikgu tu senyap-senyap, nampak je saya sampai terus pergi ke kereta tanpa anak saya nampak dan beritahu apa yang telah jadi. Kemudian satu pesanan guru tu yang saya rasa sangat tersentuh. Dia pesan, jangan marah dia ya. Sebab mereka faham apa yang jadi itu adalah luar kawalan. Jadi dengan pesanan tu saya pun okey lah, ambil bawa pergi masuk kereta, cakap pun extra nice, nak cuba korek apa yang berlaku. Tapi yalah, just keep talking, and alhamdulillah dia kongsi, dia cerita apa yang jadi, mengapa. Dan bila kita dalam keadaan tenang macam tu, dan dia pun dah tenang, dia boleh explain apa yang terjadi, barulah kita boleh faham apa tu keadaan yang berlaku. Itu satu contoh dan saya sangat terharulah dengan tindakan guru-guru sekolah anak saya. Satu lagi adalah apabila transisi, ini transisi harian nak suruh tidur. Anak saya kalau boleh tak nak tidur. Dia nak teruskanlah dengan aktiviti. Jadi kalau saya suruh dia tidur, Amy pergi tidur, dia akan macam, oh no, why do I have to sleep? Setiap kali pun kita kena remind, you need to sleep because you need to rest, you have school tomorrow. But saya found out that kalau saya beritahu dia, pergi tidur, transition tu sangat sukar. Tapi kalau saya berada di dalam bilik dia ataupun berdekatan dengan dia, okay, cakap baik-baik, dia boleh buat transisi tu jadi lebih mudah. Mungkin sebab agaknya dalam keadaan jauh pun, bila jauh saya menggunakan suara yang lebih lantang, suara yang lebih kuat tu, dia macam emosi dia macam marah kan. Jadi mungkin dia pun rasa macam tertekan. Tapi bila kita berada dalam bilik yang sama, saya pun tunggu tanpa mendesak, sebenarnya jadi lebih cepat daripada saya mendesak dari jauh. So boleh nampak ketenangan tu sebenarnya memberikan membantu untuk anak-anak ni menjadi lebih tenang dan proses apa yang berlaku. Pengalaman lah.
Actually sebenarnya Didi, co-regulation ni tidak just focus on neurodivergent children kan. It also helps neurotypical children, because generally as you are growing up, you would find that a child turns to a parent or someone that they trust to be there for them, to regulate their behavior, and I think parents pun macam jadi a mirror to them. And when with time the child will learn to self-regulate or behave. So I know a lot of teachers have said this to me sometimes when they see the kids and they say, what you see in your child is you. That means they try to mirror what you teach them at home. So kalau you teach them to self-regulate or co-regulate at home, dia pun akan pergi mencerminkan benda yang sama lah. Kadang-kadang kalau sikit-sikit nangis, or parents pun jadi emo, so the child pun akan jadi emo juga, sebab they feel that they can cry and they can cry it out. So I just want to also remember this story of my youngest. I mean, she is neurotypical, but because she grew up with two boys, and she in kindergarten, I think she became a bit more rough and tough compared to the others, that if someone would cry, she would go up to the other parents and say, oh, don't worry, auntie, no blood. Okay, so
nice co-regulation.
So because that was what used to happen at home. If she wanted to cry or something, I would ask her, any blood? Are you okay? like tak bagi muka kan? Sebab tak bagi muka, so dia nak nangis pun susah, sebab dia nak nangis untuk diri sendiri. So bila pergi sekolah, bila kawan dia nangis pun dia pergi check dulu, ada tak dia cedera ke, dia berdarah ke. Kalau tak, no blood, don't cry. So that way it's a form of emotional well-being, but also to teach the children how to regulate their own emotions and what is important and what is not. So I'm going to turn now to Kakak to say, okay, Kakak, how would you, in not just a lens of a parent of one neurotypical and one neurodivergent child, but also in the sense of a allied health professional, share the importance of co-regulation?
Yeah. I memang gemar mendengar cerita-cerita, almost a wayang but not quite. So sebenarnya what both of you has described about this regulation is a skill. Yeah, it comes sometimes naturally to individuals, not only to children, but we were talking as you were speaking. This learned skill of managing a response to an environment that may be stressful. Yeah. So this skill is like a thermostat. What you describe in an environment when there is discomfort, maybe in the school something happened, but the teacher came and regulated with Didi first to say, just be reminded, jangan marah ya, jangan marah here. Perhaps she's thinking, don't raise your voice now. Raising the voice, then Didi went and reinforced that contoh, that modeling, when you went close into the bedroom environment you describe, so that you don't have to speak in a louder tone. So even the tone of voice is also a signal to the thermostat, the body, that mama is in a calmer mode. Yeah. So regulation or self-regulation sebenarnya is a very important skill that needs to be modeled, learned, shaped as the child's and our individual nervous system learn how to calm down. That is the whole concept and science of regulating. What are we regulating? Sebenarnya we are regulating our response to stress that will come out in emotion. We are managing how our body responds. Ya, sama ada kami melompat-lompat ke atau sama ada kami dapat berehat. That is a body physical response. So in our neurodivergent individual children, sometimes their sensory system, as we know, is wired differently. So whether they are responding typically or more often than not, responsinya more sensitive, or it could be the other way around. It could be less sensitive to a different signal, what I call external signal. So in that sense, the expected response to the signal or to the stress may not be appropriate. So if they are hypersensitive, then they will be more sensitive, the word, yeah? So an example is to sound. Kan? So the hypersensitivity to sound, then we need to help manage that by showing them and manage that by moving to a different place or wearing a earphone, not earphone, help me out, earphone. Headphone.
Noise cancelling headphones. Yeah.
Noise cancelling to some
headphones,
extent.
yes.
Yeah? Some to light and so forth. So that is the scientific base of regulating. It's really to help every individual respond appropriately in a calm manner to stress.
And it would, I'm just going to pick it up from there, Kakak. You just said calm manner. Would it also be a predictable and consistent manner? Because we always learn this when you go for all our workshops to say, when you are dealing with a neurodivergent child and you're dealing with their emotions and meltdown, there has to be some form of predictability and consistency.
Indeed. So this is what we explain, what we say, what is in the environment. Yeah. So kalau predictable, then the body know how to respond. Kan? It's straightforward. And so then as carers, as educators, we always try to make sure we inform earlier. Kan? We paint the picture. We gunakan social story. All these are instilling predictability lah. What we call more structure. Jangan kecoh-kecoh sangat, because the body or the nervous system cannot react fast enough. In fact, they do not respond fast enough. The word is they react inappropriately.
So that would also trigger stress if you are unable to co-regulate. Would that be correct?
So in the end of the day, that's the key. If we are not co-regulating, we are not in sync, yeah, the body and the brain kenalah kerjakan lebih banyak to allow a more peaceful environment. Yeah, so that's why this co-regulating ultimately is about helping us manage our our emotions, our bodily response, yeah, and our whole well-being.
But that's the thing, kakak. It's not automatic kan. So we learn it from experience. Kalau mama marah juga, that things are not gonna be like settled soon. So we take different approach. Bila dah belajar tu okay. And then having two neurodivergent children kan, for me, the temperament and then like how I react bila dengan Afia macam mana, dengan Amy macam mana, totally different because they have different preferences kan. So to match it kan to their personality and what they like, and then ada yang suka macam manja-manja, ada yang suka if we tap to their cognitive like with facts. So it's not easy, tapi it has to be done. Kalau tak buat nanti krisis pun berpanjangan. Set all the things. Kalau dekat sekolah mengamuk, nanti esok mengamuk lagi sebab tak settle kan. And yeah, I think I suka macam nak parents faham that it's not just about fixing, it's not just about teaching the right behaviour, because at one point anak-anak kita, like especially my children kan, they already know what yang betul, apa yang tak patut dan salah, tak boleh dibuat, tak sepatutnya berlaku. Tapi in the heat of the moment, sometimes still terjadi, dan we have a choice whether to make them feel bad or help them go through this episode and like empower them and let them know that it's not like they do it on purpose. And kadang-kadang macam I did explain that okay, sometimes like if when they have difficulty in transition, for example, it's part of being autistic. And then when they have big emotion triggered by things which usually does not trigger other people, so it is also because of their different neurology. They also get upset, like macam, then I don't want to be autistic. I don't want to be neurodivergent. So there, another layer of co-regulating, like not just mama has to explain to them in the best way possible, without, sugarcoating it, because we want them to have the right facts, right? And at the same time, trying to make them still upholding their self-esteem lah, kan, being proud of who they are rather than feeling sorry that they have this diagnosis. So not easy, never easy, and I don't know.
So
like, still learning.
Didi, as we were chatting just now, kan, sebenarnya all this applies to all our children, typical or neurodivergent. Yeah. And I like, again, like what you want to say to parents who are listening. Actually, as parents to neurodivergent, we do put a lot on our neurodivergent children to work harder, kan?
Yeah.
Just listening to you, not only do we need to have parenting, which many of us learn on our toes, on our trot, we say. Selalu sepanjang masa, we are learning.
Yeah.
Now we have an additional layer. And in many ways, we are also we are evolving a lot.
On a daily basis sometimes.
All the time. Yeah. And in many ways, we many times also put that expectation onto our neurodivergent individual. Now, every child is different. So even in my family, the two boys, they are such different characters. How we respond to a situation, to both of them pun tak sama juga. Right? So the message is, co-regulating is so important, where each individual, we have to respond in a way that is appropriate to them. And how do we know? In a way, quite simple. When we do what we do, if the other person remains calm or get calmer instead of getting more excitable or lagi marah, we already know that there is a more suitable response, or the word is tak boleh dikawali. Yeah, they do not have the ability. Not that they do not want to. They do not have the ability. I'm always reminded by Joshua, and it always ring in my ears. Mama, I know I can't help it. And I'm always taken, and I always thank him to remind me. Okay? Dia tahu tak boleh dikawal. And that's where I know I going to have to step in to be that kawalan, to give them that safe space.
I like that, because when you say safe space, a lot of co-regulation starts with physical proximity, doesn't it?
Exactly. So, when you're closer, you don't have to speak louder. And if you are able, that regulation includes physical hugs, strokes. These are simple co-regulating. It sounds very scientific, but actually it's by nature that when we are comforting, I think I like to use the word, when we are comforting, that is regulating.
Okay, so when they are younger, we all use this thing of putting them, let's say, in a naughty corner or a quiet corner or a calming corner to try to calm them. And as they grow bigger, you can't do that anymore. That's not a transition that for any child you want to keep sending them to a corner if they are misbehaving or dysregulated. So when you co-regulate, after a while, you want the child to be able to tell you that they need some calming. And a lot of times, as a teacher or co-worker, you can sense a mood, and as a parent, you definitely are able to tell. But when the dysregulation goes so quickly from a calm to a uncontrollable or meltdown, that is when the challenge arises. How sometimes, and I've been shown this, that if I intervene early enough, it doesn't go bad. It pauses. So I remember having to do that, like sometimes just holding on to his hand, and he will then pause. He will look at me. I will give him that look and say, breathe. And then he will pause, and it doesn't escalate as much because it's a pause dealing with it. He may burst into tears. He may just feel, I'm so angry, but it may not go uncontrollable. It doesn't happen like that with everybody, but there are times where it can be a pause.
Yeah, I think in that instance, when you describe, you became his thermostat. I use that word many times. Yeah, that hold on a minute, that pause, that pressure on the hand, in a way alerted in a positive way. Yeah, that I'm here. There's something that may be coming up. Yeah, you're his signal. Yeah.
I want to throw this back at Didi. So Didi, when you were calm when the teacher told you, so lepas tu, because you acted in a calm manner, then the child had an ability to realize that you were a safe space to meluahkan perasaan dalam hati dia kepada you. Okay, so now
in fact, apa yang jadi tau?
Carry on, Didi.
Sebab when the teacher reported what happened, so the teacher gave me one version lah. Okay, what was the cause of the incident? Kan the trigger. And then bila I jumpa Amy, I did not cakap terus that I already know what had happened. I just like macam okay, being extra nice, and then nampak dia muka monyok-monyok like, wait, what happened in school? And she opened up and she told me her version of the story, which of course a more complete version, and giving us a better understanding of what had triggered her lah, because she was the one who had this big reaction kan. So it shows that that I could be her safe space and I'm on her side rather than macam I want to know what did you do wrong, why are you doing this, macam kita nak cari salah dia kan. So it really helped. And after that, I relate the information to the teacher, and then we discuss with the teacher what can we do to make her feel better and to not have the same incident happen in school lah.
I just want to quickly capture this communication. Sebenarnya that's why Desiree and then Nori's not here today.
Yes.
Would have loved to hear from them, but that's why it's important to make available as many communication tool, not necessarily the verbal. I'm very careful here to alert. We have to use observation. We have to look for signals, to help to help that inability to convey in the standard tutoran lah. So having the ability to communicate, then having the ability to use that to draw what is their discomfort, and then offer some assistance. I'm very mindful in many of a portion of the neurodivergent or even PWDs where because of the neurobiology, memang the nervous system is overexcited, and that sometimes come to a point, these what we call very cognitive or intellectual ways of doing it may need help with medication, may need professional help. And I just want to mention that so that it is not, when it's more complex, do get help.
So to sort of summarize what we've discussed, so we are promoting co-regulation and safe space because one, it helps a child regulate themselves and regulate their behavior, which sometimes may not be as easy, but at times it works like magic. It's also to give the child some form of confidence that there is somebody there that will understand them. It's also to contribute to a sense of safety, belonging, and emotional well-being. And when they achieve that, learning becomes easier. Performing even the simplest tasks then becomes less of a chore for them. If from what we were talking about, a sense of dysregulation would even cause a neurodivergent child who is able to put on his shoes to not be able to understand that the shoes need to be put on because they would be so disheveled. The kind of stress that they are under and their emotions, that something as basic that they have mastered and do it every day, pick up their school bag or put on their shoes, is something that they can lose completely. So just when somebody is able to calm them down, and then it all comes back to them.
And I will recognize and say, I get dysregulated when I'm under pressure. Yeah. It's that same...
we all do. I think stress triggers it, right?
Exactly. So we are made like that. If we are not able to manage it, it means that the external stimulus is beyond that ability to manage.
What we also do in Kita Family is we promote empathy and kindness, and that is something that co-regulation plays a huge part. So just by saying to another neurodivergent mom, I feel you, helps that mom co-regulate, and hopefully that mom can then help the child co-regulate. So we use affirming language. Yeah. Yes, Didi?
You guys had helped to co-regulate myself last week when I was like so anxious about what's going to happen in school. And because my child was in school, I was like in the state of like, I said my anxiety was on the roof, and you guys like gave all these, advice, comforting words. And it really helped because, of course, when I went to school, another incident happened, but I was in a state where I had the capacity to co-regulate my daughter. So yeah, having friends, having people who understand you, having people that you can share your fears, your anxiety really help. Because
sebab kita kampung
sometimes,
you.
Oh, thank you. Sebab kan sometimes kita like we ourselves pun perlu orang lain untuk co-regulate kan kita kan.
All the time.
Yeah. Sometimes we just need to walk out to have a breeze, or somebody to say, "Hey, are you okay today?" And just help you understand that there is a channel for you to express yourself. And if someone shows kindness, it co-regulates you, which then helps. So that's why we talk about the village all the time. Having your own village. So before we take a break, any last words on co-regulation, Kakak?
It is an important skill to learn, to be aware, to enable relationships to be safe.
And Didi?
It's a conscious effort, and always be aware of your own capacity. Like make sure you have it in you to co-regulate. And if you don't, find the cause. Is it because you are not feeling well? Is it because you are stressed over something else? Or is it because you are tired? You don't get enough sleep the night before? So gauge yourself, so that you would always have the ability to co-regulate as much as possible.
Okay. So just some final tips, and I'll put them in no particular order. Just some tips to co-regulate, but there may be more. So please leave some comments to tell us how you do it. One of those things is be present and attentive. Create a safe and calm space where others can express themselves. Use affirming language and language that validates experiences and promotes a sense of belonging. And be just patient and understanding, and model healthy self-regulation strategies by taking care of your own emotional and sensory needs before you look after your child. So if you at that point need to go and squeeze one of those stress balls, please go and do it, before you want to like geram kan? So that's basically what it means. So we've come to the end of the first part of our episode today, and we'll take a short break and be back after this. Okay, selamat kembali ke episode 65 of Kita Family Podcast. Before the break, we discussed co-regulation in a neurodivergent sense. And now kita akan bincang overcompensating. Perkara yang menjadi satu kadang-kadang behavior yang second nature kepada especially parents of neurodivergent children. What is it? Kita ambil excessive steps and measures to correct or make amends for the fact that our children are different. So we either I'm so sorry ya, dia akan buat macam ni ya. Sometimes not allowing them to express themselves because we want them, and we're overcompensating for their behavior which is not typical. So it can be a big topic, but because we were doing co-regulation, we want to link it to how overcompensating may not be the best form of co-regulation, or is is it positive when it comes to co-regulating? So we will try to discuss that in this segment. And we start with Didi to say, Didi, do we overcompensate?
Hopefully not, but definitely half of the time at least.
Yeah.
So macam when things happen, we usually can try to make things safe. Firstly memang safe. So sometimes we take them away from the crisis, from the issues, from the trigger. Lepas tu kita lupa nak address like what was the trigger, kenapa trigger tu. Kadang-kadang because of the dysregulation kan, the same trigger ada masa memberi kesan yang kecil sahaja, tapi ada masa tak boleh terima, same trigger tapi cause meltdown. And kita macam sebab selalu terfikir, oh one time it cause a meltdown, lepas tu avoid at all costs. Sedangkan kita perlulah exposekan dia, and sometimes it's not about sensory all the time. It's about the dysregulation and stress ke accumulation of other things that had happened before. So kadang-kadang kita jadi takut lah macam nak avoid kan, and then sebagai parents, whenever anak-anak kita having difficult moments, meltdown, we blame ourselves. Kita rasa macam, oh, because kita tak kenal pasti trigger-trigger ni ada ke tak ada. Kalau boleh kita nak elak, boleh-bolehnya nak elak. So bila terjadi tu macam, sebab saya lupa, oh sebab saya biarkan anak saya mungkin a bit lapar ke, ataupun the night before dia tak cukup tidur, tapi I still push her to do this and this, so dia meltdown. Sedangkan things happen, we cannot control everything kan. Kita macam so much of like trying to like take into account kan, checklist, make sure that tak ada satu perkara pun yang akan menjadi penyumbang kepada dysregulation ataupun perkara-perkara yang buatkan anak kita rasa discomfort kan, tak selesa. And satu lagi perkara yang saya suka sangat, Anit reminding me, I think weekly tau, sekarang dah jadi macam weekly. Anit and Desiree remind me bila I cakap like stress lah with these two girls, and then you guys said, hey, this is not neurodivergent issues, this is teenagers issues. So much of macam kita rasa, this is because of their autism, this is because they are born different. But life is life kan, like we still want them to lead life as much as other people as well, pergi sekolah, keep learning. So I'm learning to, I don't know, mungkin the same thing of course lah, macam walaupun perkara tu you can say that it's not because of them being neurodivergent, but still it's an issue that we need to not overcome, but we need to manage kan, things that we still need to manage. But the pressure of thinking that this is normal teenage behavior and this is neurodivergent punya issues, of course the stress level is not the same lah. So trying not to be too hard of myself.
Yeah.
Similarly, I feel I sometimes overcompensate by prompts. So I think for Nirav especially, he would sometimes forget something that I would always prompt him like, what did you come with? Are you leaving with what you came with? It became like almost like a prompt that he would wait for. But there were times when I wasn't there, and then he'd come back and say, I left this behind. So we would have to sit and trace where he left it and whether we could go back and get it. Tapi mula-mula I pun geram, that you should be getting it. But then it took a lot of time before he got there. But now, like sometimes he is walking out of the house and he goes, oops, I forgot something, because there is a voice in the head, probably not mom, but a voice that is asking him. He used to leave things everywhere. He'd buy a new cap, be so fond of it, but leave it somewhere. I think he left one in Kota Kinabalu, right? Didi?
Yes. Ada lagi.
So that happens very regularly, and we try to overcompensate by prompting, overcompensate by giving them visuals, which will help. Tetapi I think with time and with teenagers all teenagers leave things behind. All children also leave things behind, but slowly they learn like, oh, I need to double check this. And after a while, we had to sit and say strategies. Always have a checklist of what you need to leave with, and always have a strategy of coming back with what you have. We may need to break it down, but initially we overcompensate. I truly believe in that. Yeah.
So, Didi, when you said or when you ask, I have to say I overcompensate most of the time, not half the time. Yeah. And sometimes I think about it. Why do I do that so much? Again, my Joshua, he has a phrase with me, especially now he is more aware. He is my reflection, and he'll say, Mom, you are over analyzing. Right. And I do overanalyze because earlier we mentioned to regulate is better to have structure, is better to have plan. So I think in many ways, as a parent that is very busy, actually, I was going to say a parent neurodivergent, but sebenarnya as a very busy individual, this overcompensation is my way of responding to make sure I organize myself. And I think if I look back, we may have the fear of failure a lot. Kan? Fear of our children not meeting our expectation, societal expectation. So this fear of failure, we really must learn to allow mistakes. We know mistakes really is where we learn. So I want to give a story about this just today. So Joshua is now in his internship, and he routinely go more often than not to this coffee shop for their lunch. I got a phone call today, and I still haven't find out the detail of this kind uncle. He called me and say, Joshua's bag, his wallet is here, is left behind in the coffee shop. He comes here for lunch. And I know this belongs to him.
Okay.
What I'm trying to show here is in our overcompensation, there's in that state, I reflected to think there are people out there who will support these expected mistake, not unexpected mistakes and failures. Yeah. So where am I taking this? Overcompensating is in a way also a trained behavior. There are some trained behaviors that needs to be retrained. Yes. Because I learned today that there are other people who will also look out for the safety. There was a good contoh today. And
Uncle, thank you for being inclusive. And I'm sure you would have done that for anybody, not just Joshua. Tetapi itu adalah kehidupan secara inklusif, that we have a village looking out for us.
Yeah, indeed.
So on that note, we're going to wrap up today on this topic that started with co-regulation and ended with how we overcompensate, and we need to give our kids a bit more space to grow instead of us overcompensating all the time.
And overanalyzing.
Yes, no more overanalyzing. So please join us in sharing your thoughts. We love to hear from you. We are available on YouTube. We are also on Spotify. We are also on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And we read all your messages. We keep tracks of your likes and dislikes. And we would like to discuss things that you would like to hear from us as well. So with that, thank you from episode 65, Kita Family Podcast. Bye.
Bye.